You have no confidence. That's why you second-guess yourself constantly. Why you stay quiet in rooms where you know the answer. Why you talk yourself out of things you're clearly good enough for. And that because you've never done the one thing confidence actually demands. Your brain struggles with abstract beliefs. That's why it's hard to truly believe in things like a God or in yourself. Confidence is one of those things. You can say I believe in myself, but your brain won't buy it unless there's evidence. Psychologically, this is tied to the availability heuristic. Your brain judges what's real based on how easily it can recall a clear example. If you can't remember moments where you acted with confidence, your brain assumes they don't exist. That's why you have to create something tangible. You have to create proof. And that means doing the hard things. The things you are afraid of. Every time your instincts tell yourself to hide, you have to do the opposite. Because this is the moment to collect proof. And after every moment where you showed courage, even if it was small, document it. Now when your brain says you're not capable, you'll have hard data to argue back. Over time, those memories become available, recallable, real, and that's how belief becomes identity.
The reason you constantly overthink, imagine every worst-case scenario, and still do nothing, hoping that if you just think longer you'll finally feel ready, is called intolerance of uncertainty, and psychology gives you a two-step fix. Overthinking is your brain's attempt to escape uncertainty. Intolerance of uncertainty is a cognitive trait that makes ambiguity feel threatening, so instead of acting, your brain loops through imagined risks to gain the illusion of control. But the more you think, the more uncertain you feel, because your orbitofrontal cortex, the brain's risk evaluation center, stays active when there's no resolution. No action means no feedback and no closure. To break the cycle, you have to shift from simulation to action. The most effective method is behavioral experimentation, a CBT technique where you deliberately act under uncertainty and observe the result. This generates prediction error, a mismatch between what you feared and what actually happened. That signal forces your brain to update its threat model. When you notice the loop, give yourself 5 minutes, act, then write down 3 things: your fear, your action, and the real outcome. This builds real evidence that uncertainty isn't danger. Over time, it retrains your brain to tolerate the unknown, and that's when the overthinking ends.
You say sorry when you've done nothing wrong. You hesitate to ask for help, even when you desperately need it. And no matter how kind people are, you still feel like you're too much. You feel like a burden. It's not a personality trait. It's a byproduct of conditional self-worth. And here is how to fix it. If as a child your needs were met with anger, silence, or withdrawal, your brain learned one thing. Needing others causes disconnection. That belief gets encoded in the attachment system, especially if you had parents who were emotionally unavailable, anxious, or dismissive. As an adult, this belief activates the default mode network during social situations. The part of the brain responsible for self-referential thinking in insecurely attached people, the DMN, shows increased activity in negative self-appraisal, meaning in any ambiguous interaction, you assume you're the problem. To change this, start small, whenever you notice yourself holding back. Say what you need, clearly, and without apology. Then write down what you did in third person, as if you were an outside observer. Describe it factually, without judgment. This helps your brain step out of the old shame story and rebuild a more accurate self-image. Over time, you train your brain to see that having needs and being lovable aren't opposites, and you stop feeling like a burden.